Hey, what is up ladies and gentlemen, I am Piglet here once again. And I'm Daffy Duck here, we are back for some more yet again for the likes of the Mexi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more of Let's Play of Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games for the Nintendo Wii, specifically in Team Festival mode. So last time we have managed to gone through days 8 all the way up to 10, whilst the forms of day 9 I believe, that not only do we able to finally claim ourselves our glorious gold medals in the forms of curling, but not only that, we also managed to beat the likes of the forms of E123 Omega, so that way we can able to actually beat him in the forms of short track relay as a team. So today we're about to begin through the forms of, well, day 11 and probably day 12 in addition with that as well. Because after all, that today's day is the forms of the 24th of January today in 2020. So naturally speaking, until next week, it will be the last day of the forms of January until next week. So either way, let's get this thing straight on day 11. So to kick things off, let's go ahead and just go through the actual main events on that specific days, well, specifically in day 11 most likely, which there are the proper main events on ice hockey as well as the forms of bobsled. So, to begin with, let's go and participate in ice hockey first off, so either way, that way we can able to actually just to save bobsled for some time. And here we're now going to be competing against with another different team, but this time around it's Team Sonic, which we have for as a the characters department, which he got himself, you know, Silver the Hedgehog, Metal Sonic, and Daisy. So either way, I guess we should probably place Wario as a goalie. And as a result, we'll select him as computer players, just like the forms of how it does it previously. So either way, yeah, let us begin with ice hockey. So either way, hopefully we'll claim ourselves a gold in this particular event, which, to be honest with you, I think claiming the gold medal on that particular event is so much more easier than the forms of how it does it on curling, in my opinion, because you know how the fact that sometimes, you know, if sometimes AI can go all over the place, I will admit though, but regardless of everything else though, Piglet, is the fact that we're pretty much guaranteed to see what the actual true championship we are, so. Alright, here we go, face period, and let's go ahead and just get ourselves a plug or anything. Which, truth be told, is still really easy to time ourselves with it, because unlike, you know, Sochi 2014 counterparts, it just always feels very difficult to able to noticing that. Oh yeah, one thing we totally forgot to mention about this ever since the very beginning of Team Festival mode is the fact that we did already come across into the forms of Team Bobs, or Dream Bobsled, as far as I like to say. That, you know, we have to traverse for a special stage, you know, tunnel parts ever since in Sonic Heroes and stuff like that for that nature. Well, usually kind of think about it, because unlike in Sochi 2014, where it does manage to take place in the forms of the similar universe, which is the forms of the Sonic universe, but in a different stage, based off from, you know, Sonic Generation / Sonic Adventure for Speed Highway. But naturally speaking, and also that rings didn't do anything on Sochi 2014, because due to the forms of, I don't know, questionable design choices or something, but I digress though, so let's go ahead and thankfully Wario's been super protective when it comes to become a goalie and stuff like that. I think exponentially for this point, Daffy, is the fact that we might as well able to keep Wario as a goalie for the time being until when we get towards the end of this Let's Play from this point on, especially noticeable in day 15, because we're probably not going to mention about this too much specific details on that until obviously we'll mention more onto that until at some point either next Monday or next Wednesday in particular. So either way, now let's move on to the second period, despite the fact that we've only got 1 point, just 1 point this time around, probably just because of how the fact that we have no idea why, that we keep messing things up a little bit. Probably because of how the fact that we were supposed to be able to actually just to be good at it, although probably because also is the fact that we are usually trying to keep up with the actual combos going for it comes to like passing towards of our players and stuff, which Still is not as easy as it should be, so either way. And also there's another thing too, that we actually going to be left Wario to be on the goalies, because you know how the fact that Wario is actually a power type character, and plus most of the I would classify for saying that most of the power type characters might actually move slightly slower on the fielding, at least as far as I'm noticing for this. But either way though, we haven't really looked upon that much in terms of status reports and stuff. Oh, second goal! But this time around, Yoshi did manage to... Is it Yoshi? Yep, it's Yoshi indeed. That he did manage to score one goal. See, I think that's all I can think about it, because I'm pretty much guaranteed that we'll get ourselves a domination victory for this point right there, because, you know, we always love ice hockey, especially noticeable in this version of ice hockey in particular. Although nothing horrible about it when it comes to Sochi 2014 version, but it's just that, you know, despite with the Wii U's sales has been, like, significantly gets lower, but anyway though, we did manage to claim first place, just like usual. Oh yeah, something's worth mentioning by this point is the fact that I don't know if Tiana actually mentioned about this at all when it comes to the forms of other things that she likes to talk about, but I suppose we'd like to discuss upon it. Although, before I get to that actually, something's worth mentioning for this point and onwards is the fact that we're really hoping that as far as at this point in time, that well, we'll definitely guarantee we can able to finish this Let's Play until, you know, at the very end of this month in particular, which it might be seem to be truly to be happen, especially noticeable how the fact that we've not actually come across into snow just yet in our UK countries, which, is it like the forms of 2014 all over again or something? Maybe, I don't know, but then again, we'll find out in a future day. So, anyways, that's that, and now let's move on to the final time we're going to be going on to you know, bobsled. And then as a result, we are basically done with day 11, or is it? Well, to be honest with you, Piglets, much like always, I believe we might come across into a different rival on that specific day. Yeah, because you remember the forms of the singles festival mode, that the only rival we did manage to compete against is, well, Rouge de Bat, obviously, in the forms of figure skating, despite with, you know, we had a miserable time on Dream Gliding just because of how difficult how that can be. Well, let's just hope until whenever we get to the point until at the very end of Team Festival mode, then we might have ourselves a pretty much a decent time at it. But anyway though, so the actual time on this that we need to beat is the forms about, let's just say, 1 minute and 6 seconds, which, to be honest with you, is actually not that bad in particular. Well, compared to whenever you're trying to think about it though, every time you hopefully trying to able to claim your gold sometimes in this particular event, I will admit though, it is kind of random most of the time with most of the actual teams manage to get themselves the actual medals to us, or the actual different times to its disposal, or in this case there are rare occasions where they did manage to beat Team Vector's time right there. But hopefully we'll able to actually get ourselves a little bit of a guarantee we can able to get ourselves a glorious gold medal, just like always, but hopefully we'll make a chance for this point. As far as you know, doubt is for this point right now, if you couldn't tell, this video is actually going to be slightly shorter than the rest, because, well, truth be told for this point, guys, we'll probably have to, well, originally we're going to be also include day 13 for this particular video, but somehow we'll just have to wait for that because, well, we just don't want to make the actual video itself extremely too long for that particular point. Especially noticeable how the fact that, well, we'll discuss more to that until when it gets to on Monday. So either way, yep, we did manage to claim not only first place, but also a glorious new record. I don't know if it's actually true that you might actually also get a new record if you claim, like, second or lower, but then again, we haven't tested out for ourselves ever since very long time ago actually, since about, you know, a decade ago, despite the fact that we have not actually gone on day 1 though, so oh well, beggar sales can't be choosers I suppose, but anyway. So there we go guys, we pretty much gone through first place, although I have to admit though right away, this particular event, specifically the Wii version of bobsled, I will admit though right away, is actually a lot harder to get the gold medal for some reason. It's probably just me, but I'm pretty darn sure because of depending on the random time records for computer players sometimes. But luckily for us though, we did manage to beat the actual computer players this time in an extremely easy fashion. So anyway, so let's see what the different rival is, and it's gonna take place in Snowboard Cross. Hey, I saw you in yesterday's Snowboard Cross practice. Was that really the best you could do? It's like you have no idea how to handle a snowboard. I guess I'm going to have to show you. Oh, so you're trying to prove us about the fact that we are not the fastest thing in the world? Or you're trying to keep on quoting us about, I'm the fastest creature in the universe, and today, I'm gonna prove it. Which, you know, that line heavily borrows from Sonic Rider Zero Gravity if you bump into the Babylon Rogues for the first time on that game, but either way though, we'll just get this event started, and this will be the last time seeing Jet the Hawk in this game. Yeah, as you can see on screen, that differently from the likes of the singles festival mode compared to the team version is that, as you can see, Jet the Hawk is actually now starting the race in a different position this time. Or in this case, in that specific different starting point, because just like King Boo from the likes of Alpine Skiing Downhill, as well as Giant Slalom, that he usually starts off as he managed to go and prepare for himself from the start of a race on top of the actual starting line, or the starting podium. So, this seems interesting all in all, probably because of how the fact that the four of us is actually on the regular starting points as far as you most likely tell for this point. So, but I digress though, the entire purpose of this entire rival is pretty much exactly the same as before, except now with the fact that, you know, with our teammates that is going way more far behind, because, you know, obviously you're gonna have to take control of one character, and that's all you have to really noticing for this point. And basically the entire objective is pretty much the same, you just have to claim first place. You don't have to worry about with your teammates though, because otherwise though, you have to purposely try to claim first place and try to beat, you know, Jet the Hawk in the process. So that way, it'll make it a little bit obvious for that point. And I think this will be the last time we're going to be seeing this event until in day 12 that you guys should probably already know what's going to come up. But I digress. So yeah, as you can see that, you know, Yoshi, Luigi, and Wario are pretty much far behind compared to Jet the Hawk. So yeah, I guess that's pretty obvious for this point. And that could be also the same applies for the Ski Cross event, which we'll talk more on that until next week or something. So, anyways, now let's move on to probably the best day of Team Festival, in my opinion, which we'll probably point it out whenever we dive right in. And of course, like always, Toad is going to tell us the actual detailed results that has been happening. So, even then, we got ourselves 4 gold medals, which is actually pretty flawless. And similarly, we got 4 first place medals, which is also completely flawless as a result. And the amount of points we got in total is 132 points. So, we got way more than the forms of the other team, that's for sure. Yeah, which I'm pretty guaranteed about the fact that we will able to actually conquer it all. Especially noticeable for the entire mode itself. Which is pretty true for that recommendations and all that stuff. And yeah, as you can see, day 12 is going to bring us entirely in a dream event day, which is pretty awesome because not only do we able to come across into our favorite dream event of all time again, but you know, with how the fact that we got ourselves some dream figure skating going on. Now remember the forms of the singles festival mode that we did manage to show you guys the Sonic World, which is fantastic by the way. Now it's time we can able to look up on, well, Mario World. So even then, just to make it a little bit more different compared to the forms of how it does it from the singles playthrough of that specific mode. And, well, we'll talk more on that final thoughts of this particular Mario World performance until at the very end. But either way though, we'll just dive right in. So, okay, so once again it's in team-based, so we need to beat about, like, above, like, I don't know, 350 or so points to beat. And obviously this game takes place in the actual visual style from the likes of New Super Mario Bros. On the DS, if you can clearly tell in the background. And there's that glorious power star from above. And we're going to chase after it. Yeah, because the reason why Piglet has just said about the entire background of this particular performance like this is actually heavily borrowed from New Super Mario Bros. On the DS most likely, because this game came out before New Super Mario Bros. Wii, at least as far as we're noticing this already, because this game came out in October 2009 along with the DS version, and then in the forms of New Super Mario Bros. Wii came out later on until November 2009, so yeah, something's worth mentioning because of the actual visual standpoints, which I think that could be also so implied by the forms of the original Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, that I'm presuming that you, Daffy, and Chip has not mentioned about that during that particular Let's Play back in 2016, that you notice there's actually a mode called Gallery Mode in one of those little mini-games and stuff, you know, with the Whack-A-Mole kind of mini-game, and one of those background environments he usually heavily borrows is actually in this. Well, to be more specifically, in New Super Mario Bros. DS, so yeah, for the first performance, it usually takes place in, you know, the overworld from the likes of, well, World 1-1 most likely, which we're gonna have to chase around the stars and everything. And then now onto the second performance segment that, you know, we're gonna take place in Bowser's Castle. So either way, while dodging those fire bars, and especially noticeable with those, well, thumps that we refuse to able to get squished by it. Although, just like before, as you can see, that we keep on getting some more goods and everything, probably because of, you know, depending on your rhythm, that you would able to get extra amount of points. So, something's worth mentioning though, if you really want to get your high score counts like increasingly higher and upwards, so just in case if you really want to go for that specific matter. Well, unlike the forms of Sochi 2014 version is the fact that we get chased by the forms of False Bowser due to the forms of the Super Leaf power-up, but in here we just have to basically just dodge any single hazards and stuff. And now we go on to the third and the final section at this point, and oh man, the music is so good. Especially because this is actually the forms of the Super Mario World credits theme. Yeah, because if you could clearly tell with the actual melody of that specific, you know, the actual theme itself, which is, you know, the credits sequence from Super Mario World, that's actually a very, very great thing to end off. Especially noticeable how the fact that, well, usually we just have to, like, ice skating around Peach's castle in the background. You know, it kind of reminds me of, almost feels very similar to Sochi 2014 counterpart, except, well, unlike in Sochi 2014, where I don't think we actually come across into the most epic moments, like getting chased by the forms of False Bowser or anything. We messed up on that drawing, whatever. You know what's kinda cool is the fact that, although it's probably just me anyway though, before you're mentioning about this point, Duffy, is the fact that every time when I looked at the actual M right there, it kinda reminds me of that particular McDonald's icon, which, I know it sounds a bit strange, but either way though, I guess that makes it obvious because this particular performance, when you do like some sort of like a line motion segment where you're able to draw the letter based off from the universe that you were in, such as you need to follow the M motion on the Mario world and then follow the S motion on the Sonic world. So makes it pretty much sense because obviously that, you know, it actually represents the letters that usually begins with the actual the first word that they ever used for their name. But still not that bad though, but I kinda prefer Sonic World a lot more just because of how the fact that we got ourselves a very epic battle against with Perfect Chaos battle on that specific performance. I mean, that is seriously top notch. But as compared to Sochi 2014, I like the Mario one a bit more because of how the fact that we getting chased by False Bowser and stuff. Well, despite if you're able to play as Bowser on Mario's Figure Skating Spectacular in Sochi 2014, that somehow you get two Bowsers on screen, which is pretty funny. Yeah, especially noticeable how the fact that it might get some confusion's sake, but obviously if you couldn't tell what the actual difference between the two, that False Bowser gets like a Tanuki tail, probably because of one of Bowser's minions is on disguise within like obtaining the Super Leaf and everything, and then normal Bowser just gets like a normal tail basically, so Anyway, so now let's hop on to the forms of the best Dream event of all time, especially notable with the entire series in my opinion, which is of course Dream Snowboard Cross, so let's get this done. But this time around though, we are playing as the Mario characters exploring through Radical Highway, so that makes this really awesome to me though, because that way we can able to go down on a linear course. So, let's go! And hopefully we can able to grind for some more rails and performing tricks and stuff, and you know, you get the idea for that point. And just like the forms of Dream Alpine is the fact that we need to cooperate, trying to able to compete in time. So either way, except this time it's basically just snowboard basically. And also with the awesome stage of all time. Well, at least as far as in the original Sonic Adventure 2. I think to me, Sonic Generations on the 3DS, when it comes to like, you know, with Radical Highway stage, it's not that great though. Probably because of long stretches where nothing happens and then bottomless pits might able to... Oh, no! Oh, we just got hit. But luckily we managed to regain ourselves back up a little bit. And I think Wario and Yoshi did manage to both got the star coin, which, you know, if all of us manage to grab one of those each, then obviously we'll get a star for freebie. So just want to classify that. I wonder if how the fact they're able to get Knight's cameo, but I guess it wasn't. So instead it was just a Chao, which, to be honest with you, I don't mind about it too much. Yeah, probably because of how the fact that Mario might not know Knights after all, so... Anyways, let's get on to that specific Red Gate Bridge segment, and to top it off, grab some rings in the process for a special move, and just use the Super Sneakers so that we could grind a lot more faster than before. Yeah, that seriously rocks right there. But anyway though, talking of which, actually, is the fact that, what was I trying to say earlier? Oh, yeah. What I'd like to point things out is the fact that, recently, during the forms of about, 3 days ago, is the fact that recently, that Pokemon the Movie 22, or for that matter, though, the, Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution, apparently that particular film now got its release as the actual official trailer. But it turns out that it's going to be in English dub, of course, with the new Ash voice actor and stuff like that, which is... Oh, we're off by 2 seconds to get that new record! Oh well, we'll just pass. Yeah, anyway, yeah, thanks for just showing off that replay after getting hit by one of Eggman's robots, so thanks a lot. Anyways though, yeah, with Pokemon the Movie 22, in this case Pokemon the Movie Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution, not only does it get ourselves our official English trailer and stuff like that, it turns out it's going to be on Netflix exclusive, which I have no idea why it's going for that routine, because normally, after when the actual film came out, most notably in Manga UK Entertainment most likely, they did manage to release the film on DVD later on. But it turns out, I think that might be the only time that will happen. But I'm actually very curious to see what that film is going to be all about. But either way though, we'll talk more onto that until whenever we discuss onto that at some point, in February at some point. So... yeah, I guess we'll pretty much guarantee we got the endings off at this point here. So join us next time for more of Let's Play of Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games. Is that we're going to be hit on to Day 13, which is perhaps one of the longest days of the entire Team Festival. But we'll discuss more on that until on Monday. So I'll see you guys on next Monday. Yeah, later fellas. See you guys then.